What's happening, my Jack family? Coach Scott here, jackedafter40.com. One of the common questions I get asked from men over 40 is how to correct muscle imbalances when one arm is bigger than the other or one leg is bigger than the other. And most of us have these muscle imbalances and most of us aren't even aware of them. I know I wasn't aware that I had one arm bigger than the other or one leg bigger than the other until I recently got a 3D body scan that showed my right arm was half an inch smaller than my left arm and my right leg was half an inch smaller than my left leg. And most people will assume that it's your dominant side that's going to be bigger, and that's not the case. I'm right-handed, but my left side is bigger than my right side. We're gonna get to those reasons why that may be coming up, as well as 3 things that you can do to fix those muscle imbalances. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. More than anything, I would love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback and experiences. Let me know if you're dealing with muscle imbalances, anything you've done to help correct it, or anything that you would like to know to help you out. Tip number 1 is to enhance your mind-muscle connection with the target muscle, especially when performing compound movements such as the hack squat here. And really becoming aware if there are any compensation patterns happening and if you're applying any additional force to one limb over the other. I'm sure you've become aware of it in the past where you felt one leg doing more work than the other. It happens, may not notice it all the time, but it really helps to be focused and present in the moment. One thing you can do to enhance that mind-muscle connection is slow down the tempo a bit, really allowing yourself to feel the stretch and tension on the way down, maybe even a brief pause in the bottom, and engage that muscle before actually raising the load back up. And when you get to the top of the movement, contracting that muscle as hard as you can before repeating that. But even getting playful with the movement, changing your foot position when you're doing a hack squat, maybe going with your toes pointed out a little bit more, allowing your knees to open up a bit more. Just little subtle changes can make a big difference. When it comes to the biceps, I mean, even isolation exercises such as the cable bicep curl, you can have some compensation patterns going on there. And it really helps to squeeze and contract those muscles at the top, getting playful with your grip, maybe creating a little inward force where you're squeezing the hands in closer together, or just squeezing a little bit harder, or even relaxing your hands a little bit more, not squeezing as much and feeling the biceps doing more of the work than the forearms. So really every little thing that you can do to enhance your mind-muscle connection, really feel the tension in that target muscle, is going to go a very long way in making sure that you're distributing the tension evenly across both limbs and really feeling the tension in the muscle the way you should be experiencing it. Tip number 2 is to do some extra work for the limb that's smaller. So when I'm training arms, at the end of the workout, I'm going to do an extra exercise for my right bicep and an extra exercise for my right tricep. For the bicep, I've really enjoyed doing a cross body hammer curl to begin with, and once I fatigue there, I'm going to switch to a hammer supinated curl. And both those movements there, I'm really focused on enhancing that mind-muscle connection, feeling if the brachialis is working in there, both bicep heads pumping, just really making sure that I'm getting a great contraction, really feeling the bicep doing a lot of the work there, really making sure that I'm taking the shoulders out of the movement. And when it comes to the triceps, I will perform a single reverse grip tricep press down. And again, once you're getting a great squeeze in the bottom, feeling the stretch all the way up, really making sure I am enhancing that mind-muscle connection with this exercise. A lot of times I won't go too heavy with this movement. Once again, you want to slow it down, keep that tempo controlled, feel the stretch, feel the contraction, and really making sure that it's the target muscle that is engaging each time you are pressing the weight. So I'm pressing that weight down. I want to make sure it's my triceps that are really contracting before I get it down, not just my shoulders tensing up. Same thing with the biceps. I don't want my anterior delt tensing up too much when I'm performing those movements. So a strong mind-muscle connection with both the bicep and the tricep while both giving them extra work. When it comes to my legs, what I've been doing doing is doing single leg extension. I'm lucky at my gym, we have pieces of equipment that just work one limb at a time when it comes to that. You can also do the same thing with a machine that isn't single leg. You just go nice and light with the machine and just use one limb at a time. I've done that multiple times before with different training techniques that you can use one limb at a time. And with the leg extension, it's really important. It's amazing how even the first rep that I performed, or even the first couple of reps, I was kind of feeling my up in the hip flexor area dominating the movement at first. And you can really make sure that you're driving your hips down into the bench and focusing on the quadriceps doing the work. It's just amazing when you really pay attention to what's being worked there. How you can really recognize the compensation patterns. And when you really focus, you can kind of shift that tension maybe towards the teardrop area, so that vastus medialis, and or you can kind of shift the tension a little bit more to the vastus lateralis, or you can really feel the rectus femoris doing a lot of work right down the middle there. The leg extension is great for working that rectus femoris, but it really helps. It really can pay attention with that mind-muscle connection and feel how the tension shifts when you lose that focus or when you intensify that focus. So once again, going light and controlled with this movement, once again, getting the extra work for the quadricep here, but also enhancing that mind-muscle connection and kind of becoming aware of those compensation patterns that are taking place there and how you can easily lose it. When it comes to the hamstrings, we've got a great standing single leg hamstring curl here. And once again, just really briefly holding that contraction at the top, feeling the stretch on the way down. And at the top, I mean, it's almost get to that point of cramping, but you can also kind of feel the shifting of the tension there. When you have a strong mind-muscle connection, you can kind of feel the hamstring contract more to towards the inner aspect of your thigh, and you can shift that focus towards the outer aspect of the hamstring there. The back of your legs, you can even feel the glutes get involved. You can even feel when you're compensating and using your lower back to assist with that movement. The hamstring does cross the hip joint, so it's very easy to kind of get that lower back involved there. You want to make sure that that lower back stays out of the equation, but you really want to make sure that you are enhancing that mind-muscle connection with the hamstring muscles while you're getting this extra work in. It's no point on doing the extra work for these single limbs if you're still going to have a compensation taking place there, and you're going to kind of lose that focus and using other supporting muscles to help get that weight up. So really make sure that you're going light and using a strong mind-muscle connection when doing one limb at a time. Tip number 3 is to get to the root of the problem, to find out why a compensation pattern is happening in the first place. A couple years ago, I was seeing a muscle activation technique specialist, and he discovered that my tensor fasciae lata wasn't firing properly. So my rectus femoris was taking the brunt of the load. I was wondering why I was always feeling sore in the rectus femoris. Even back to my high school track and field days, I was always getting injured in that area and having to go to physiotherapy and a chiropractor to help with that area. Like tiny little micro tears were happening there, and a lot of it was just because I've had this issue from the beginning that my tensor fasciae lata was not activating when it should, so other supporting muscles were compensating to take over for that inactivity there. So seeing a muscle activation technique specialist can be really helpful. He also found, I think the root of the problem was my core. Like a lot of my issues have been the right side, my right shoulder, my right thigh, and a lot of it originated in the core. So really found what wasn't firing there, what wasn't activating there, and oftentimes the muscle that's sore is the reason it's sore is because that's the muscle that's taken over. That's the compensation that's there. So getting the right muscles to activate in addition to relieving the tension and the soreness with those muscles that have been overcompensating over time. So for me, a lot of it came down to foam rolling and self-massage. So especially with the core there, I'd use the beastie ball along my ribs all the way down to my hips and down into my pelvis. That worked wonders, even using the foam roller on my core, relying on my side there and kind of really relieving the tension in the abdominal area, rolling out my thighs, rolling out my glutes, doing some self-massage around my shoulders, and also becoming aware of, I guess, compensation that's happening in the gym as well. So I'm getting to the root of the problem is form, technique. And for me, I noticed with when it came to a lot of bicep exercise, even shoulder exercises, my right side, I would shrug up. So I have to really, it helps to stand in front of the mirror and see that and really force my shoulders down when I'm doing a bicep curl, when I'm doing a tricep press down. So shoulders down and back to make sure my shoulders are, my traps aren't involved in the movement or minimally involved in the movement, and the target muscle is doing more of the work. Same thing with legs. Again, really being aware that I'm leaning more to one side or the next, or noticing that one knee might cave in more than the other. And that's the point where you want to lower yourself down and make sure that both knees are opening up when you're squatting. And a lot of times, even if you find that if you get down too deep in a squat, that's when it happens. So if you have a mirror in front of you, just kind of pay attention to what's going on. So being aware of the root cause of the problem. Maybe you're squatting too deep, deeper than you need to, and once you get down there, that's when you're shifting your focus. You're shifting the tension to the other leg that's actually stronger. So it's getting stronger because you're shifting the focus over there, and the other leg is getting weaker because you've shifted the focus away from it. So I highly recommend that you see a muscle activation technique specialist to see if things aren't firing properly, activating properly, and doing some foam rolling, some self-massage to relieve the tension in those the areas that we're overcompensating, as well as just becoming aware of your movement patterns, looking in the mirror to see how you are compensating in the gym. The root problem might be your form, your technique is slightly off. So correct that from the beginning. Again, you might have to go a little bit lighter in order to do that, but stick with the range of motion that works best for you. Maybe even for something like the bench press, you're coming down a little bit too low, and that's when you start compensating. So all these things, it really helps to have a heightened sense of awareness, a strong mind-muscle connection, and really focus on that target muscle the best you can, doing some extra work along the way to bring that weaker side up, that smaller limb up, while you're just improving your overall technique. That's the beauty of this jacked after 40 lifestyle, is there's no limit to how much we can improve our mind-muscle connection, enhance our mind-muscle connection. It's a blast. It's that playfulness, like I was talking about earlier, subtle little changes in foot positioning, grips, how you're creating an inward or outward intention. There's all these different little tricks that you can use. How hard you're gripping, how weak you're gripping can make a big impact on your movement. So get playful with it, but you have to have a heightened sense of awareness, strong mind-muscle connection in order to make this work effectively. Fascial stretch therapy is another great option to loosen up those tight muscles that have been compensating along the way. If you want to see me going through a fascial stretch therapy to kind of loosen up my right side, which is always tight, you can check out this video here. And before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Jacked After 40, and please take a moment to drop a comment down below to share your thoughts, share your insights, and share your feedback. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button. Hope you have yourself an absolutely amazing day. I'll catch you in the next video.